Welcome to the First 40 Sports Show with the squad. It's Black Thor Ice Water and yours truly, Puma. Let's go to college football and surprises in college football ice. Who's in and who's out? I know Miami got booted out, but there seems to be some really interesting matchups in the playoffs. And if all goes well, we'll see another rematch of the Big Ten. I looked at the games last week. Penn State just didn't have enough for Oregon. And how does Oregon come in their first year and kick the pants out of the Big Ten and win the championship?
Well, stuff happens. I mean, you look at what Texas was trying to do in the SEC as well. So stuff happened. What I find ironic though is that some people have the rematch of the Big Ten championship as the rematch of the championship that's gonna happen soon. Really? What y'all was drinking? I want some of that. I want some of what y'all smoking. All good though. I don't. I mean, there's always room to say the committee got it wrong. I mean, Alabama's complaining. Miami did it to themselves. You're supposed to beat Syracuse. You beat Syracuse, you win that. The only thing I have to say about this, and y'all know where I live and all that. We ain't gonna get into all that. But the only thing I want to say is about the playoff bracket overall. They surprised me, the committee did, by standing true to letting the other teams that were not, the conference champions stand where they did. I'm just blown away by the factor that Boise State is 3 and Arizona State is 4 overall. They stood on that. I didn't think they would. I thought they would kind of go about who they think the better teams were. But as far as the seeding is concerned, they stood on that. And granted, I think it's going to make for a little easier road, just my opinion, by certain teams. So you sitting up there, and I had nothing against Boise State or SMU, but if you're in that area, I think your shot might be a little easier. Might be wrong. So I'm sure Texas is like, unless they're waiting to get back in it to do what they got to do. Clemson the same way. So that's just me. I know that's the fair way to do it, but we have not done that really. It's always been about the teams that they thought were better, even if they didn't have a better record. And for them to stand on that and put those teams the way that they did, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. And because of results, if they tweak it at all. That's what I got.
Look, I don't have any complaints on what the committee did. They justified a lot of the stuff, the decisions they were making, and looking at strength of schedule. They held, like I said, they really kind of held on to what they said they were going to do. They stood on it and said, "Hey, we're going to put conference champions in." Boise State is no slouch. They almost beat Oregon, the number one team, when they played them and lost to them by 1 point. So, I have no complaints about what the committee did with this 12 system playoff.
Yeah, I'm glad that they basically handled it the way they did too. I like to see, some teams that we probably wouldn't have saw if it was down to four. They may get bounced or they may not, man. I don't know what Alabama's playing about. You had three bad losses. Even the games you won, you really were you look impressive. I'm a little surprised with Clemson. Happy for them. I'm a little surprised they made it in. But the way it's seated now, I like it, man. I mean, I think Oregon to me is a favorite, but Penn State, man, gave them all they wanted the other night. So we'll see, man. Penn State found some offense from somewhere, so it should be a good tournament overall. Very good tournament.
All right, let's go to NFL football where the big boys play. Let me get your eye test, Black. On we got 4 weeks left in the season. Your eye test on some of the games that really kind of made you shake your head, and some of the games that you were really impressed with.
I look at Philly with Carolina. They won. It shouldn't have been that close. I know Carolina's kind of scrappy coming back, but you can't tell me you're trying to win a Super Bowl and you're bound the Carolina Panthers to win a game and feel good about that. I just don't understand that. To me, quietly, man, Minnesota, I like what they're doing. I think their coach is unheralded. I don't think he gets a lot of attention and notoriety he deserves because he has basically turned that franchise around offensively. Defense, sometimes they kind of fall down a little bit. And Detroit's Detroit. They find ways at the end of the game to kind of do some things to make you scratch your head. And even if they lose, they still walk away believing they did the right thing. I'm not sure about it, but I looked at Green Bay, and I'm gonna tell you, Detroit better get it this year because they got themselves a battle for the next 5 to 10 years. That young team, Green Bay, is on the move. They're coming up, and it seemed like Aaron Rodgers played there 20 years ago. Man. That team is solid.
Yeah, I'm looking at Pittsburgh, and I would have never thought because Pittsburgh was picked to be last this season when they grabbed those two quarterbacks. Now they're in first by 2 games. We thought Baltimore would run away with that division, followed by Cincinnati and Cleveland. Pittsburgh got their get back ice. last night, but what are some of the games and some of the players or some of the games that made you shake your head or that you want to give kudos to?
Yeah, I think I think I'm hating. I'm not. I'm just saying what I see. I think it's a lot of hype and talking about who has the best roster in football. And I've heard people mention Philadelphia. I just don't see him having that dog. And I know Saquon Barkley is up for the MVP and all, but he can't win it all by himself. If your quarterback don't step up and some other things happen, they could be in trouble. That Carolina game was a little bit more. They played these games really tight, more than I think they should. And maybe they're just waiting to kind of blow up and make some things happen. We'll see there, but I don't know. Again, like I told y'all earlier, I think I'm joking. I think if you play Seattle at home, you have a little something to deal with. I just do. And I think like teams like Washington are coming up and whatnot. You play them at home, I think you have a lot more things going on your hands. And the other team I'm gonna say real quick is that I guess don't think they're for real until they prove it differently. It's Buffalo, man. You act like you want it. You gotta want it. I mean, granted, okay, you also got to score by the Rams, but at this point, only so many weeks left. You think that they would act like they won it, and I know they came back, won it real bad, and they didn't really play that way. And I've been hiding a secret for a while. I'm gonna bring it out now. Tried to tell y'all early in the year. Told y'all earlier when Mike Tomlin got them two mobile quarterbacks, it was gonna make a difference because that offense, when it gets down to the like you saw Russell Wilson yesterday, when they get in that red zone, you don't know how to defend them, and that's what they need. They need ways to score points despite trying to do it off of defense. And I think just having that mobile quarterback, one way or the other, is going to make a major difference for them, and they keep winning.
Yeah, Buffalo kind of does this every year, so I'm not really surprised. I was just waiting for them to kind of turn the corner and like, you know what, we're going to finish strong out here. I expected them to do the same thing that Mike Tomlin said last week. No, we're going to intensify our efforts to finish this thing strong. You would think Buffalo would do that after all the years that they've been in this situation. Maybe because New England's not breathing down their back, they think they can relax, but this is what you expect from them. They're always trying to give the quarterback, the MVP before the season, and then they have a game like this. So I'm not really sure. Let's go to college basketball. Kansas is still holding on to that number one spot. I don't know if they can particularly keep it. Followed by Auburn, Tennessee, Kentucky, Marquette, Iowa State, who's a real good team. They dropped one, but they'll be playing Iowa in a couple of days. Gonzaga dropped down. Purdue dropped down. You have Duke, who was making some hay and making their way back up, and followed by Alabama. Eye test, Black. What are the eye tests on college basketball? Since we're not watching the NBA, so we might as well.
Yeah, we gave up on the NBA basically. Yeah, I got to, it was kind of surprising to me to see UConn down at number 25. Whoa.
I thought they'd be out of the top 25, to be honest. Yeah.
Wow. I was surprised to see them there. They battled. They kind of sneaked out a game. I kind of paid a little attention to them. Kansas, man, they went down to Creighton. Creighton does something that the number one ranked teams, man. They just got something they do to them. They have the kryptonite. I like Kansas. I think they went there a little too cocky. I'm not sure they can ride all the way to the end of the season, but just like the football, when I'm looking at some of these games, I think it's wide open, man. So early, still wide open. Gonzaga probably make a move for us all said and done. Baylor's not a bad team. I had little eyes on them. So it's an interesting season. Very interesting season so far.
It just seems like teams need more time to build chemistry and to really kind of, build that steam up towards March Madness. Because I didn't think Carolina should be in the top 25. I definitely didn't think UConn should be in the top 25 the way they've been playing. But you see teams like Illinois that jumped up 12 spots. You've seen teams like Pittsburgh, who jumped up about 9 spots. You see Memphis, who I think should be ranked in the top 10 at this particular point. They're 7-2. They're ranked 16th. What's your eye test on college basketball, man?
I think it's going to be wide open. It is already wide open, but the reason why I said it is because the fact that you see how well Auburn was going along, and then they got popped on the road versus Duke. I mean, it was their first loss, but Duke is like, hey, we're not trash. Even though we get a lot of hype going on right now, we still can win a big game. And I thought that was huge for Duke moving forward. I'm really interested to see this week how some of these teams come together and see how they hang against a very top tier talent. One of the games I'm going to be watching will be Marquette versus Dayton. Dayton has played real hard all year long. Marquette has been getting a lot of love. I think they're like 9-1. They rank real high. Everybody talking about them. I think it'll be interesting from that standpoint. The other game I want to see just for the giggles because they struggle to move up, Cincinnati versus Xavier. I think it's going to be very interesting as well. Moving on, also UConn versus Gonzaga. You know, UConn has been down for the last couple of games or weeks, and now they get a chance to jump back up and they play against Gonzaga. That would be good too. Also, too, Purdue's been real well without the big fella in the middle. They've been winning some ball games, but a team that they're really gonna have to scrap for has beat a lot of good teams this year is Texas A&M. So it's Texas A&M versus Purdue.
All right, Black, give me a quick hitter for this week, man.
Quick hitter, man. I'm amazed everybody's like, Bill Belichick might be going to college. He can't go to the pros. That's why. That's why he's interviewing, because I'm pretty sure his agent has walked around and people are like, nah, we'll pass.
Give him a chance. Ice, your quick hitter.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of Laker fans, a lot of Laker people talk about LeBron, and they talk about this team and they're not this and that. But I found ironic how JJ Redick is switching things up, putting different lineups in there. For instance, Connect has been starting a few games, sitting down D'Angelo Russell, and one of my buddies was like, well, D'Lo's gonna be gone or whatever. And I'm like, okay, that's all well and good. But my question, and off this quick hitter is very much so, if you get rid of D'Angelo Russell, who's gonna run a point for the Lakers? That's all I'm asking. It ain't gonna be LeBron. He's 99. Anthony Davis can't run it. Who else gonna run it? That's all I'm gonna say. So until you find somebody suitable or worthwhile, you might want to hold a D'Angelo Russell.
Man, I'm surprised you guys didn't go with the Soto case or the story. Soto goes to the Mets, and I'm wondering what the folks in Yankee land are talking about. It's a big loss, but it saves him a lot of money. Golly, that's a lot of money he's getting. But anyway, last second shot, Black.
My last second shot is come basically what Ice said about the Lakers. When you give LeBron the ball and he wants to score 40 points a night, average, basically stats into the game, that's what you're going to get. He should be in this point in his career, he makes the team better. LeBron does not make the Lakers better. He just doesn't. He dominates. He runs around. He has a coach now that can look the other way. The man, I have yet to see an NBA player in a long time stands there and don't play defense and let the clock run down 10 seconds and walk down. Any other coach would basically sent you to the locker room. But they're not going to do that to LeBron. So LeBron is killing the Lakers. At the same time, he's killing the league. Nobody's watching.
Ice?
Yeah, I want to talk about the Denver Nuggets, Jokic, the Joker. And something kind of, a little bit out of character for him that we know. Apparently, they've been in this little losing streak or whatever. He doesn't like it. He's come out and said to a point that the players that don't give real hard work or put in a lot of performance to help them win, they should be docked pay. I'm like, damn, the Joker? The Joker was like, hey, you don't want to play, sit down, or let's take some of that check. To hear the Joker say that, I know he's a two-time MVP and whatnot, for him to stand on what he's talking about and moving forward about he wants to win that bad, that says something about that man. It says something about what the attitude may be in Denver right now.
Yeah, he said in his country where it's from, if you're not playing well, you're losing, they dock your pay. They dock your pay. And that might not be a bad idea for the NBA. Seriously. NFL, make a decision. Either you're going to be a flag football league or you're going to let men play. Because every good hit isn't a flag. If the receiver missed the ball, the guy can't stop in midair trying to jar the ball from him. It's not a flag every time you get a good hit. It's not. So either go to a flag football league or let men be men.